Welcome to a new season of the Central Arkansas Bear Basketball Report. Joining me are both head coaches of the University of Central Arkansas basketball programs. For the Sugar Bears, Coach Sandra Rushing in her first season, and for the men, Coach Corliss Williamson in his third season. This week's show, we'll talk about the conference openers for both teams as both traveled to Thibodaux, Louisiana and Hammond, Louisiana, and took on Nicholls State University and Southeastern Louisiana. And we'll also take a look ahead to this coming week's home games against Stephen F. Austin and Northwestern State. We'll be with head coach Corliss Williamson right after this on the Central Arkansas Basketball Report.
This is the Central Arkansas Basketball Report, sponsored by Conway Chamber of Commerce, AT&T, All Clean Restoration Services, Crane Automotive, AT&T, The Real Yellow Pages, Sonic Drive-In, Log Cabin Democrat, and Zaxby's.
The smoked chipotle burrito is really good.
Yeah, my zesty cheesesteak burrito's great.
Are you familiar, Pete, with the phrase, don't mess with success?
Yeah.
Because this is not only messing with success, this is taking success to the cliff and shoving success over.
Success said, oh, please, don't do anything. Leave me alone.
These burritos didn't even hear that. They heard, oh, put, and that was it. It was just like, wah. Egg everywhere.
Wake up to sirloin steak and fluffy eggs with the new zesty cheesesteak and smoked chipotle breakfast burritos. This is how you Sonic.
Flooding happens. When it does, call All Clean Restoration, Arkansas's solution to disaster restoration, flooding, fire and smoke, tornado, and more. We are Arkansas's #1 restoration company, able to reverse the damage of any disaster, large or small, and get your home or business back to the way it should be.
Tell your insurance company you prefer All Clean Restoration.
All Clean Restoration, proudly serving all of Arkansas.
Welcome back to the Central Arkansas Basketball Report. Joining me here, head coach Corliss Williamson. And coach, kind of reviewing things off to the start of the season, you found your team on the road. You had some tough non-conference opponents like Arizona State. You had Arkansas State, a big home game right before Thanksgiving. You went on the road against Mississippi State and Oklahoma State. Just talk about the non-conference portion of the schedule a little bit and how it kind of prepared your team as we went into conference play.
Yes, we played some tough teams during the early season. We wanted to try to prepare our team for conference play. Had some tough games. Went on the road, won a tough game at Southeast Missouri. Played some bigger schools, and I thought we had a chance to grow up. I thought our guys were playing well. Unfortunately, we had an injury after this Southeastern Missouri game with Quentin Miles. So we've kind of missed him as of late, but I've been very proud of our team and their effort so far.
Talk about some of the guys that you had returning. You got kind of a veteran ball club and who've kind of stepped up and taken a leadership role in this team.
Well, Jarvis Gardner has really stepped up and played well for us this year. He's the heart and soul of our team. He gets the guys going every day in practice. Robert Crawford has worked extremely hard during the offseason, and his hard work is paying off for him. He's shooting the ball well. I think he's shooting over 50% from the three-point line. He had a monster game for us at Southeast Missouri. I think he had 39 points. So those two young men have really come in and played well for us early, and LaQuentin Miles is playing well before his injury.
I know one thing you kind of worried about coming into the season, your point guard play. Kind of assess that as we've gone along.
Well, LaQuentin Miles has stepped up in our first 8 games or so before his injury, and you can tell we're missing him right now. That's one of the areas that we struggle with. We're not as deep at the point guard position as we'd like to be, and thought LaQuentin was doing well. Hopefully we'll get him back soon. You do get the addition of Anthony Borden back now for the start of conference play. What does his addition mean to this team? Well, the first few games he's played, he's had average about 3 blocks a game. So he brings a defensive presence to our interior, and that's something that we desperately needed. He does a great job of crashing the offensive boards. So with his size and athleticism, he can really be effective for us in conference play.
We went into conference play, obviously the first 2 games on the road, a doubleheader format now. Kind of talk about how you prepare a team going into non-conference or into the conference games as doubleheader, kind of having to wait around for that second game.
Well, you come in and you have an opportunity to, you got 3 days ahead to kind of prepare and get your guys in the right mindset. I think on that Monday you can kind of mix and match what you're going to see throughout that week. But, Tuesday and Wednesday you got to prepare for that Thursday night game. And, I think our guys have the right mentality. They worked hard. The day after the Thursday game, you want to make sure that they get some rest and keep them off their legs as much as possible, but you still got to get some work done in practice.
As we go to the highlights now, we open up the season on the road, the conference season at Nicholls State and Thibodaux. tough place to play. It's a tough place to get to, I know, challenges, much less the team that you have to play at Nicholls State.
Oh, yeah, it's very tough to play against Nicholls State. I mean, their style of basketball is very hard to guard and prepare for. They do a good job of moving the basketball and penetrating. So we knew we were going to be in for a tough matchup. I thought our guys would come out and be prepared to play, and I thought we did a decent job there in early in the first half as we went on a run with our pressure defense.
So you got off kind of a slow start, but once that defense picked up, you could see your pace of play really pick up, and I know that led to a big run and a pretty good end of the first half.
Yes, it did. It led to a nice run in the first half. Unfortunately, we weren't able to sustain that run. Nicholls did a great job of weathering our run and our pressure and came back right before halftime to take the lead. But as you see there, David Barrett had knocked down a big shot for us, but we still ended up being, I believe, behind maybe 8 points or so at the end of the first half, and we had to come back in the second half and try to dig ourselves out of that hole.
And you did that in the second half. You were down 8, as you mentioned, at the break, came out, got off to a good start in the second half. You shot 56% from the field for the second half. Just kind of talk about what changed in the locker room, some of the adjustments y'all made.
Well, we talked about in the locker room as far as getting into our offense. The spacing was off in the first half. Thought we did a better job. As you see there, we were able to get Robert Crawford a wide open three, and because our spacing was better and we started running the floor better in transition, as Ryan Williams knocked down the three right there. So I just thought offensively our spacing was a lot better. We passed the ball better in the second half, but we just dug that first half hole and couldn't get out of it.
I know kind of the second halves have been a problem for your team, and this one it was. Is it something y'all did, kind of a mentality you went into the halftime and kind of changed things, or?
We just came out, and told them, hey, we didn't approach this game the right way in the first half. You still have an opportunity to win the ball game. So we had to come out and attack them in the second half, and I thought we did that. You
were led by Robert Crawford's 21 points. He's had some big games. He's really probably been your leader so far in the early season, hasn't he?
Oh, he has. I mean, Rob has come back. He knows it's his senior season. He's taken on that leadership role as a senior. He's been shooting the ball extremely well. He's defending and rebounding. So we're very pleased with where Robert is now, and hopefully he'll continue to get better.
You shot the ball, we mentioned in the second half, 56%. You made 5 3-pointers. I know that was key in kind of that comeback.
It was. It was very key in that comeback. It gave us an opportunity to be in the game at the end. As you just saw, we had a tough call against Jarvis Garner there. They had an offensive foul. Right when we were making a run, I think the game, we were down 2 points at that moment, and it was a crucial call, and it really hurt us.
I know it ended up in an 83-79 loss on the road. That's a tough one to swallow. When you get LaQuinton Miles back, I know these are tough losses, but how much better is this team going to be now that they've played without him a few weeks, and when you enter him back into the lineup?
I think we'll be even better. I mean, LaQuinton does so many things for us on the court. I mean, he can score the basketball. He can create for other people on the court, as well as crash the offensive glass and defend. His length and athleticism really takes our defense to another level on the perimeter. And I think our guys, a lot of our young guys have gotten some experience now, and you bring LaQuinton back, it's definitely going to make us a better team.
I know as a coaching staff, it's going to be great. I don't know if very many people realize you hadn't had your whole team with you yet as far as injuries and other situations.
Right. That's what we talk about. We're looking forward to that moment when we're going to have our entire roster and our entire team on the court ready to play, and we think we'll take our game to another level.
I know it's a difficult loss on Thursday, but you had a quick short turnaround. I'm sure that helps a lot when you go into Saturday's game against a team like Southeastern.
Oh yeah, you're glad you're not playing football because you have to wait a whole week before you play another game. And I thought we came out and practiced well on that that Friday preparing for Saturday's game.
Southeastern, they're a very athletic team, aren't they?
They are. They're very athletic. They do a great job of pushing the basketball in transition, attacking the baskets. They're bigs inside. They do a great job of crashing the boards, and we knew it was going to be a tough game for us.
Well, the opposite kind of happened on Saturday than what happened Thursday night. Your team got off to a very good start.
Wow. Yes, we did. I thought in the first half we played extremely well. As you see, Oliver Wells knocked down a three there. He scored a few baskets for us. Jarvis Garner was on fire from three-point land. I think he was 4-4 in the first half. And things were looking good for us there in the first half. I mean, we were able to score the basketball inside, outside, and we were getting stops defensively.
Let's say you shot the ball well, 61.5% from the field. Y'all shot the ball well on the road all weekend long, 7 of 10 from behind the arc in the first half.
Yes, our guys done a great job when we go through shoot around and we have an opportunity to shoot. They go at game speed, so when they get in the game, they're accustomed to taking those shots, with defense on them, and at that speed and pace. The area we've struggled with on the road here recently, since LaQuinton's been out, we've turned the basketball over quite a bit and have given up too many points in that area.
When you get off to a good start, I know you have a lot of confidence. Y'all were able to run the floor like you got right there, and I know that's kind of the catalyst for the way you want to play basketball.
Yes, it is. With the guys we have, they're better suited when we're in an open court, when we're able to push the basketball in transition, which means we have to crash the defensive boards to get out and play in transition. You know, when our guys are running like that, we feel like, you know, we're at our best, and it's to our advantage. As you see there with Anthony Borden cleaning up that missed layup.
I know you went into the break with a 41-33 lead. There's another young man we haven't talked about, Jordan Harks. He's kind of stepped his game up a little bit, hasn't he?
Jordan has played extremely well for us this season. With Anthony's absence early in the year, he really stepped in, fulfilled that role. He's rebounding the basketball, running the floor. He's playing physical inside and finishing baskets. And Jordan's been a pleasure for us to have this year.
I know in the second half, it seemed like everything that went right in the first half, the shooting-wise, everything else, it just kind of shut off, which sometimes happens on the road, but I know that was kind of difficult to watch, wasn't it? It
was very difficult to watch. I think we were 9 of 29 in the second half, and you can't win like that on the road. Plus, we continued to turn the basketball over. It's like we just couldn't grasp the offensive rebound or loose balls. It was always slipping out of our hands, or it seemed like Southeastern just wanted the ball a little more than we did.
Is it one of these things now, as we mentioned with the short turnaround, does fatigue set in a little bit?
No, I don't think our guys were fatigued. We did a great job of getting them in shape this year during the preseason. They worked extremely hard every day in practice, but you know, I just think right here is an opportunity or a situation where we really miss LaQuinton Miles being in there handling the basketball for us in crucial moments.
So after 2 conference games and a 72-68 loss on the road at Southeastern Louisiana, you end up 0-2 in conference play. And I know it's disappointing because both games you felt like you had a chance going into the and coming out of.
Oh, yes. Going into those games, we definitely felt like we had an opportunity to win those ball games. You know, with the personnel we had, we really thought the matchups were in our favor. Just unfortunately, we weren't able to finish strong. And knowing we have 2 tough games coming up at home next week, it makes it really difficult to lose those 2 games.
So, Coach, you get off the road 0-2, but the good thing is when you get off the road, you get to come back home and stay a while. You got 2 big conference home games, your home openers here this week. First against Stephen F. Austin on Thursday night, and then Northwestern State on Saturday.
You know, these are 2 of the top 3 teams in our conference. They've played extremely well during the early part of the season, and they've both played well in the first 2 conference games. So it's going to be a tough matchup for us. You know, our guys really have to be focused in after losing 2 on the road. You definitely want to have a good stand at home.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us here today. You got 2 chances to see the Bears here at home this week. Thursday night against Stephen F. Austin at 7:30, and then the men take on Northwestern State Saturday afternoon about 4 o'clock. When we come back, we'll talk to head coach Sandra Rushing of the UCA Sugar Bears next on the Central Arkansas Basketball Report.
Real Yellow Pages, YP.com, and YP.com on your mobile. More ways to search, more ways to find. Only from AT&T.
At Zaxby's, all of our salads are made fresh to satisfy any craving. Like the blue, with a bold taste of real blue cheese and buffaloed or blackened chicken. The House, or the Caesar. With so many flavor-packed choices, you'll be seeing salad in a whole new way. Guess someone forgot to tell us that salads are supposed to be boring. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Welcome back, and now I have the honor of head coach Sandra Rushing of the Central Arkansas Sugar Bears joining me in her first season. She came from Delta State, and Coach, it's been quite an adjustment for you. You're going through your first Division I season in a long time. Just kind of talk about your transition from Delta State to here at UCA.
Well, I think it's been a great transition. You know, I'm surrounded with great players, and you know, I'm fortunate to come into a veteran team. And you know, they know how to win. They're very competitive, and you know, they've really helped me a lot. But it's been an exciting time, and I'm excited about this first show. I mean, with you, this is great.
I know one thing, you're grateful to have a veteran team, especially with the way the schedule lined up. We logged a lot of miles in the non-conference portion of the schedule.
I never unpacked my suitcase. I'm telling you, we traveled so much. And again, having a veteran team, and they're used to traveling. That's great. I think we played some really tough competition early on the road that helped prepare us for conference.
I know you've kind of been mixing and matching lineups because some injuries have kind of affected this team. Talk about with the veteran team you've had, how some of the other players, the role players, have kind of stepped up and taken advantage of the playing time they're going to be able to get.
Well, we've had some, major things that hit us in non-conference, and one of them was Micah, who's not. She's. We're still waiting on the doctor's report. Let me put it that way. And not having her on the floor has hurt us. And as a coach, you hate to see any player go down, but especially being a senior. But other players have stepped up, like BG has stepped up. I think Tracy's done a great job. And we're shorthanded a little bit. We've had some academic issues, but the people that are out there are giving me everything that they have. We're having to adjust, practice going into conference because we are low in numbers, but they're adjusting well, and I feel like that, if we really, really focus and we come in and take that short amount of time that we need to do in practice and study the film, that we should be okay.
I know one thing you're not short at is your post position, and what a blessing it has. Megan Herbert, Courtney Duver, it's Desiree Rogers, even Chantel Moss, that forced them down low to kind of lead this team.
And it gives me opportunity to rotate a few people. Of course, Megan is always going to be consistent. She's a tremendous player. How many records that she has broken. And then I think Courtney Duver has really come on and added a spark. But there's something like Desiree is a tremendous defensive player and also a rebounder. And she has really sparked us at that three. I love the way she goes in and controls the boards. With those three really hitting the boards, we're able to, lead the conference in rebounding. I think Chantel comes in and has accepted her role, and she's getting a lot of minutes and really helping this team.
Well, we talked about you've logged a lot of miles in non-conference playing. You happened to do it again this past weekend in your first time through the conference, getting one of the longest trips out of the way and one of the more difficult places to play, going to Nickel State on Thursday night and in southeastern Louisiana on Saturday.
Well, Steve, I was really happy to get that first game over with, and Nichols, and there was a little motivation going into that ball game for the seniors because of what happened last year, and they went out and they played extremely hard, and they never quit and never lost their focus. And then my concern going into Southeastern was, did we have, I guess, enough gas in the tank? Because putting them back to back, but like I said, they're seniors and they know how to prepare for that.
We get started at the highlights. You went on the road against Nickel State. We mentioned the conference champions last year. The Sugar Bears were going into the conference tournament. Ended up losing by 20 in that opening round game to Nickel State. A lot of motivation on a road game. This is a place we haven't necessarily played well, but got off to a great start on the road.
I agree, and like I said, they were really focused and motivated. Of course, I reminded them, but I didn't have to. They say, Coach, we know, and they went in to get that respect back. And the seniors, I looked at them right before the game, and I pointed out senior, 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 and they said, Coach, we got this.
One thing that this team has had difficulty in the non-conference portion of the schedule, shooting three-pointers, but as you saw the last couple of highlights, your team got off to a good start on the road from behind the arc, and I think that kind of set the table, didn't it?
I agree, and I think we're shooting the ball well. I do. I think we're shooting the ball well, especially on the road. Now, we want to do this at home, but I'm also very pleased with our defense, and I think that I came in knowing everybody can score. That was a good move right there in the middle by Courtney. She's done a tremendous job on the inside with our high-low, her and Megan, and I know it's very difficult for people to guard both of them. They're going to have to make a decision, especially as we get deeper in the conference.
I know you talked about your defensive effort. That really led the way as well, because you knew the weapons that Nickel State had. They can shoot the ball anywhere on the floor, so you had to really be focused and locked in.
And like I said earlier, Ray does a tremendous job on defense, and we put her on their leading scorer, and I thought she really took her out of it, made her work for it. And my philosophy, if somebody's going to score, you really make them work for it. And Ray is so athletic and so long that helps, especially on smaller guards.
It also set up your inside-outside play, as we see time and time again in these highlights.
And BG went in and absolutely sparked us. She plays with so much passion, so much energy. And everybody feeds off of that because she's very vocal. And I thought Tracy has stepped in since Mike has gone down and is running the show. And you've got to have that. You want your players to step up, because in athletics things are going to happen, and it's how your team responds.
So it ended up in a 72-56, a gratifying win on the road. And as it is with these Thursday, Saturday games, not a whole lot of time to celebrate because we went straight into the Lions Den on Saturday afternoon, a place we haven't really played well against Southeastern Louisiana, and had another tough task ahead.
Right, and you just have to prepare for that. I mean, you have to be mentally prepared, and we didn't do a whole lot on Friday coming off that Thursday game, and got up and went to shoot around and went in and was prepared, went over the game plan, and that's the way it has to be the rest of the year.
I say this will be one of those things where that depth problem kind of comes into play. With all the minutes logged in some of these games, you're going to have to kind of find a way to conserve their legs for the actual games themselves, aren't you?
I agree, and even at Southeastern, I was able to play the bench and put them in. We watch so much film as a staff that we know that there's a possibility when they sub, I have the opportunity to sub and then give somebody a rest, and that's just you have to prepare for every game. And I'm big on knowing who can guard who when they go in. I think that's huge. That's strategy.
As we take a look now at Southeastern Louisiana again, the key was getting off to a good start and getting some confidence going against another very athletic team.
It was a good shot right there by Tracy.
She's been one of those guards that she's a transfer in. She's one of the few that, although she's a veteran, she came into it, so she's still new to the program, but her leadership you've been able to see and her confidence growing each week.
Right there, what I was just talking about, second and third shots, Megan got her shot, put it back in. That makes a difference.
You led start to finish from Nicholls State. You come to Southeastern, you lead from the outset. That takes some of the pressure off when you're on the road, when you have the lead like that, doesn't it?
It does, but see, that's what I was saying about second half. We came out of the gates both games, really established ourselves, and we've got to bring that out of the locker room at halftime.
We got Courtney Duver going to work down low again. We've seen outside shooting. It was Brittany Gowans this whole weekend and her outside shooting that really set the tone. And again here in this game against Southeastern Louisiana, she went, I think, 4 for 4 in the first half alone from behind the arc, and that really opened it up down low.
And that's what we're going to have because I think our post play is really great. And you've got to have, when people start doubling, you've got to have your guards step up and knock down those easy shots.
And when we saw on the road where sometimes it's difficult to play the unselfishness of this team, it was evident Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. I thought we played good, solid team ball, and I'm really happy with that. I think we got a little frustrated when they started pressing us, and I thought we made some hasty decisions, and turnovers can cost you a ball game.
And there's Megan Herbert right there at the end of the first half, taking that defensive rebound, going length of the floor, laying it up off the glass as the horn expired, taking that confidence and that momentum in the locker room just really helped propel this team.
And there was a great pass in there to Chantel on our high-low. But what you were saying about Megan, she has court awareness. She saw the clock, knew we had to get a shot off, and she was going coast to coast.
That was basically what that was her in her 4 years so far here. That's the reason why she's been the leader she has.
Well, it was amazing. I just turned to my assistant and looked at that. I mean, she just went the length, blew by everybody, and laid it up.
Second half, Southeastern made a couple runs, but each time your team found a way to respond and even push the lead up. Again, another three-point shot right here. The big shot seemed to be the key to stopping their run every time they made a few runs at us.
Well, when you hit a three like that, there's a great steal by Ray. When you hit a big three, it takes the wind out of the other team, and it also gives us a little bit more energy.
I know that we talked about rebounding, especially against the two big athletic posts that Southeastern had. That was really key as well, keeping them off the boards.
Oh, and we went in and talked about that, especially on a free throw situation, because I'd watched a lot of film, and number 51 would get to the boards off the free throw, and we wanted to close her down.
You win the second game, 76-60, two double-figure wins on the road. Both times, the first time you scored over 70 points against Division I teams. It comes on the road in conference play. I think that was only like our third win ever at Southeastern Louisiana. We don't play well out there at all, but you'd never know it by the way this team took off, and you end up the first weekend 2-0 in league play. That's a good start out of the gates.
Oh, I agree, and I'm very happy with that. But, Steve, going back, I'm talking about having a veteran team and these seniors. Every home game, something's put up on the board and it says unfinished business, and they really feel like they've got some unfinished business, and I want to be a part of that, and I'm really they're really focused and really determined, and we've got to continue because there's a lot of basketball ahead of us. Anything can happen, and if we take anybody lightly, you're going to get beat.
As we look ahead, talking about that unfinished business, 2 home games is the place that the Sugar Bears really have owned in Southland Conference play, especially. I think 23 consecutive home wins in the regular season, won a lot at home, and 2 big games against 2 very athletic teams. Stephen F. Austin, who's really been the bell cow in this league over history in the Northwestern State on Saturday.
And you know, Steve, if we're going to be where we want to be at the end of the year, you definitely got to defend your home court. You have to defend your home court. You know, and I always like to say steal 1 or 2 on the road. 2's great to steal on the road, but you got to defend your home court. And, you know, Stephen F., I don't think they played very good this weekend. I've had a chance to watch some film on them, and they're much better than what they played. And they're 0-2 in conference. So they're coming in here, and it's a much-needed win for them.
So you know they're going to come in hungry, and you mentioned taking care of business at home. It'll almost undo all the good that happened last week if you come in here and drop a game.
Right. Well, I don't think those seniors are going to let that happen. Now, I don't think any game's going to be easy for us, and I think that, you know, we've got to come out of the gates, and like I said, you always establish your tempo and who's in control, and then a lot of times you have to make teams work to try to get back, and second half is what we're really going to try to work on. I mean, I want to still come out of the gates, and I think we're doing a great job of establishing ourselves. But second half, we've got to come out and do the same thing.
And then Saturday, Northwestern State here at home, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't know a whole lot about them. They have a new coaching staff, but what we do know is they came right out of the gate on Thursday night and beat the defending tournament champions, McNeese State. So obviously they're scary and talented.
Well, I think they're very well coached, and there's athletes, and they're doing some things that might create some problems for us. But that's why we have practice, and we're going to take care of that this week and see where we go.
Well, thanks for joining us here today, and thank you guys for joining us here today on the Central Arkansas Basketball Report. 2 more chances to see the Sugar Bears play at home this week. Thursday night, 5:30 against Stephen F. Austin, and again Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Hope to see you at the Ferris Center. So long for now.
I know, I'm Will, and this is the Nokia Lumia 920 from AT&T. It's got live tiles, so all my stuff's always right there in real time. It's like the ultimate personal assistant. But I'm me, and me needs handlers, so I hired Todd to handle it for me. Todd, give me that Hollywood news. What's happening on Twitter?
You're trending.
Yes. I like you, Todd. I don't like Todd because he's quitting, but now I'm hiring a new Todd, and it could be you.
Go to workforwill.com and try live tiles that deliver what you want in real time. Only from AT&T. Rethink possible.
If you're coming to Conway for football, get ready to put your game face on. For shopping, dining, accommodations, and more, come for football. Stay to play. Learn more at conwayarkansas.org.